Hey fam, how y'all doing today? Welcome back to History Highlights with Laney. In today's video, my son and I will highlight 5 Black American towns hidden under lakes and ultimately hidden from history books. Thanks to Amber Ruffin's show. Her show introduced viewers to historically Black American towns that have been destroyed and buried by a lake or natural park. They're often referred to as drowned towns. We've often talked about Lake Lanier, but sadly, there is plenty more where that came from. Oscarville, Georgia, Lake Lanier is a popular weekend destination known for fishing, boating, and so much more, including an eerie reputation that has deemed it as haunted in Georgia. But one lesser known fact is the lake sits on top of a Black town called Oscarville. Oscarville was burnt down in 1912, and more than 1,000 residents were forced to flee following the allegations of rape. Rob Edwards was arrested in September 1912, along with Ernest Knox and Oscar Daniel, both teenagers, all accused of raping and murdering a young white woman named May Crow. Edwards was dragged out of jail, beaten with a crowbar, and then lynched from a telephone pole. Daniel and Knox went on trial and were found guilty on the same day. The boys were sentenced to death by hanging. After the trial and executions, white men, known as night riders, forced Black families out of their homes by burning their land, churches, and schools. Once Black families fled, Lake Lanier was built on top of what was burned down. Seneca Village is another one in New York City. Seneca Village in New York City began in 1825 and at its peak spanned from 82nd Street to 89th Street along what is now the western edge of Central Park in New York City. Al Sharpton talked a lot about this one. By the 1840s, half of African Americans who lived there owned their own property, a rate 5 times higher than the city's average as reported in Timeline. In 1857, Seneca Village was torn down for the construction of Central Park. The only thing that remains is a plaque dedicated in 2001 to the Lost Village. Wow.
Kalijah, Alabama. Turns out, Alabama's Lake Martin is built on the previous majority Black town of Kalijah. It is home to the first Black-owned railroad started by William E. Benson and the Black school Kalijah Academic and Industrial Institute. William is the son of John Benson, who was enslaved and then freed. He went on a journey to rescue his sister in Florida, who was separated during slavery, and they made their way back to Alabama. John purchased thousands of acres of land sold to Black families where he formed a community. William helped his dad expand the family business. After William's death and the closing of the school, Kalijah was destroyed to make room for Lake Martin. Susanna, Alabama. Susanna was flooded by Lake Martin. According to Alabama Living, more than 900 bodies were moved from cemeteries before the land was submerged. The town once included a gold mine, a school, 2 mercantile, a grist mill, a flour mill, a sawmill, a blacksmith's shop, and a church. Vanport, Oregon. In the 1940s, Vanport was the center of a booming shipyard industry because of World War II and quickly became the second largest city in the state. With soldiers being drafted overseas to fight in the war, Oregon saw a labor shortage. This resulted in a great migration of Black Americans from the South. These new workers needed places to live, as the Albana neighborhood was the only place where Black people could live legally. It became too small for the growing population of Black Americans, and Vanport was built as a temporary housing solution. At its peak, 40,000 residents, or 40%, were African American. But then, in 1948, massive flooding erupted in the neighborhood, and city officials didn't warn residents of the dangerously high water levels. Many didn't evacuate in time. The town was wiped out within a day. 18,500 families were displaced. More than a third were Black Americans. Today, that area is known as Delta Park.
So there you have it, a little bit of history on 5 Black American towns hidden under lakes and ultimately hidden from history. Be well, stay safe, and stay in peace, not pieces. Hit that bell so you will know every time I upload a video. Word of the year, peace. Peace. Deuces. Love y'all, fam. See you soon.